Hello and welcome to SkedLIVE. I'm your host, Kaylee Annetts, and today we are bringing you the final show of the 2016 and 2017 school year. SkedLIVE has brought you news about many important events over the course of our show. From election coverage to award shows, this year has brought major changes that were hard to miss. During our work, the SkedLine team has noticed that these changes have repercussions on the millennials that are rarely being discussed. One of these changes would be millennials' engagement in politics. The American presidential election captured the world's attention, just as Humber's Ignite student government election led an exciting race on campus. Millennials are often painted as non-political, but this is yet to be proven. SkedLine's Madeline Arias took to Humber Halls to discuss political engagement after Canada's federal election to see how millennials actually feel about the political policies that surround them. Take a look.
Government research polls have shown that more high school and university-age students casted their ballots in the last federal election than those of previous years.
We spoke with students here at Humber College's Lakeshore campus to find out why they voted in the last federal election, who they voted for, and how they feel about the current government.
I always vote because I want to express my democratic right. I kind of follow along, like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably say I'm like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I vote obviously because I want to see change, and I would say probably like on the scale I'd be probably a 6 as well.
This year was my first year voting, but I'd say like I'm a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10 too. I'm aware, but not fully.
And who did you vote for in the last election?
Green Party, the Green Party, yeah. Environmental issues, I guess, and I don't even think they have a seat in the parliament, so they're underrepresented.
I voted for the Liberals because at the time, like, I met Justin Trudeau. His message was quite moving.
And how do you feel about him now?
I haven't looked into too much detail as to like what's going on. I know they did pass the motion M103, which I am like not against. I'm actually for. There's a lot of issues within like Canada and the United States that have come to the point where it's time that we definitely take a stand.
Some of the students we spoke to reported voting for a candidate their parents preferred.
To be completely honest, I know nothing about politics and anything, so at the time, I just turned 18, so I just kind of voted the way my parents did, so I didn't really know anything.
And who did you vote for?
I think it was the conservative one. Yeah, my mom made me.
And I've heard a lot of positive things about Trudeau and also some negative things, so it's kind of like a mix. I mean, I think I kind of like him.
It's like I said, I don't engage too much in it. I know I see little things here and there, but I never see the different changes in the political spectrum.
Some said they didn't vote at all.
Well, I feel like you could say so much, but you won't always be heard. So I felt like if I voted, will the person I want be in power? And I just decided not to. I'm like, there's no point.
Still, the legalization of marijuana and Indigenous rights issues came up as popular discussion points, even from those who said they didn't vote.
Judging from what's happening to the Aboriginals, their suicide rate is really high. They have no clean water, and it's like, this is their land. So why can't our government accommodate them, but they can accommodate all of us? It's just for them to be like, oh yeah, we run things, but you guys aren't helping the people. You're supposed to be for the people to help.
Well, my main, as I mentioned before, the whole marijuana situation, I'd like to see him do a creative way to make it work for both sides, where we can have it legalized, but it's controlled enough that it's good for those who may not want it legalized, that they're like, okay, I can handle that.
The debate of legalizing marijuana, which I'm totally for, if it became stagnant because he was not willing to decriminalize it first, which would have been an easier vote. It also would have helped a lot of people. A lot of people who were getting arrested and put time in jail for nonviolent crimes, especially members of minority communities who were, specifically targeted. It's definitely an issue I kind of wish was better addressed.
Other students said the current government had yet to make any real changes.
I don't see any progress. It's been moving very slow. I don't see anything happening in terms of, making sure that the youth in this country actually have a future where they can be successful and not have to be in the huge numbers of debt. He's cried and said, I'm sorry to the Aboriginals, but is crying going to fix the dirty waters in communities? No. Is crying going to fix the broken homes that they are living in? No. Is crying going to fix the mental health issues and suicide rates of these Aboriginal communities? No, it's not. So I don't see anything great that he's done at all.
We have yet to see how sentiments will change in the coming years. For skedline.com, I'm Madeline Arias.
Part of the education process, students are facing more debt than ever before. Reporter Jake Kletchy got the scoop on OSAP's new policies and how students manage their finances when it does come to education.
With the recent changes to OSAP, students are reevaluating their financial situations for the September 2017 semester. Maggie Sruji, a Humber student enrolled in the criminal justice program, is currently receiving the maximum amount of OSAP, which is just a little over $15,000.
Still, it is not enough for what we have to do here at school. We're paying for education. I'm living on my own and have no support from anybody else. So I'm trying to balance 2 jobs and school because of what OSAP can't really fund for me. I'm having a lot of stress issues because of having to work so much and try and balance school as well while trying to finish my degree. I actually got diagnosed with a hernia last year, and it's still currently affecting me, and it was all due because of stress. So because of not receiving that amount of money, I'm like, my stress levels are through the roof, and it's affecting me physically, so that's when you know it's bad.
Sruji's mother works 3 jobs to support her family and is currently on welfare.
I get no support from my family. My mom's a single mom. I currently have a brother going to McMaster as well. So obviously she can't, if she's gonna help one, she has to help the other, and she literally can't even help one of us. And there's weeks where I'm working 40 hours a week and there's still not $1 in my pocket after I pay rent at the end of the month. And sometimes that's even a struggle. On top of medication and just living, I need food and groceries, right? So it's always a struggle. I have a court case due tomorrow that's worth 35% of my grade, and I'm still till now working on the paper because I've only been able to work on it for 15 minutes a day since I got the project, instead of having an hour a day kind of thing where I could get it done faster.
As part of the changes to OSAP, graduates will not have to begin repaying their loans until they are making at least $25,000.
Because up to right now, I owe OSAP about $45,000. Now that if I don't get a job right away, I don't have to stress about it. But I think when I do get a job and I have the other payments, hopefully house and a family, that extra money will be taken from something more important. But at the end of the day, I'm getting the degree because of OSAP, so I owe it to them. So.
We reached out to the Ministry of Advanced Education and Skills Development and received this response in an email. Ontario has one of the highest rates of post-secondary education anywhere, but this rate is much lower among students from lower income families. That's not right. People should get into college or university based on their ability and potential, not on how much money their parents make. That is why we have made the biggest changes to OSAP ever to make post-secondary education more affordable for hundreds of thousands of students. We spoke to one student who has recently graduated and is now living on his own.
I made it out with a relatively small amount of debt, all things considered. And the part of the changes that have been put in place about the postponements have been very helpful for me because I haven't been making enough money. I kind of went out into the nothing that is applying for jobs. The last 2-3 months have been cobbling together stability out of a lot of nothing, and that's been hard. I was able to submit a monthly, how much I made in a particular month, and they gave me a year pushing back before they'll start taking payments for my OSAP again.
Moving forward, Smith hopes to secure a more reliable income source.
And I feel like I'm going into having something more stable with, because I'm just in the process of getting a job at Medieval Times as a squire, which will be much closer to full-time hours and be a normal schedule. Establishing some stability, budgeting, and planning for that money to come out. And, eventually it'll be done in probably a couple of years.
Looking ahead to the next year, some students may now be eligible for free tuition. Mature students who are starting school in September 2017 may be able to receive enough grants to make their tuition free. based on factors such as parental income and dependence. I'm Jake Kletchy, reporting for skedline.com.
Much, Jake. Sports are a great source of entertainment all over the world and especially in Toronto. This year, our coverage has focused around the World Series, Super Bowl, and the upcoming NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. From soccer to basketball and everything in between, Humber's college varsity teams have proven their exceptional skills. One of our newsroom sport experts, Devin Emery, discussed the success that Humber had this season and what it takes to be a true superstar on the court.
Hi, I'm Devin Emery for SkedLINE.com, and we're here at Humber North to talk with the women's basketball team and their success. We're here with CJ Noah Fuente, who won back-to-back National Player of the Year.
Humber varsity sports have won 47 national championships, which is the most for any other school in the country. But what does it take to create a winning team?
Creating a winning team, it starts with a number of factors, buzzwords like culture, putting things in place and great support systems. So I think that's kind of been built up at Humber for 30 some odd years.
Leadership is huge. I think we all agree when it starts at the top. Our AD is a huge support to our program, and then it obviously trickles down. When I was a player here, I know to build the winning culture that we've had now, these guys were huge because they were my coaches as well.
Humber's success comes from giving the athletes important leadership roles in their sport, and CJ is an example of a true leader on and off the court.
Basically, I've been given a role to be a leader, basically be an extension of the coach on the court. I was able to help players get to their potential, whether feeding them the ball a certain way, finding girls on the court, just basically getting the team involved when other girls don't know how to do it. So I'm a team player. I would love to get 10 assists versus 10 points of my own.
Another important aspect of building a winning culture is everyone buying into the system.
So it's literally what we're saying, the buy-in from top to bottom and everyone pushing each other to get better as we climb the ladder.
Buying in, I think buying into the program, buying into this family, and just even your role as an athlete.
But what happens when the system is in place for you to win and you don't? The women's basketball team lost in the quarterfinals of nationals to Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, ending their unbeaten streak and their chances at repeating for gold.
After we lost, we kind of were like, wow, that's how it feels to lose, because it's been a while. And obviously it's a humbling experience because you have to basically go back and be like, hey, this feeling sucks. We don't want it to happen again. What do we need to do and what do they need to do to make sure that every game we play is our best game?
Personally, I felt like I let my team down. I know for me, I didn't have a great shooting game. I tried to do as much as I can.
Which was a bit of a heartbreaker. Especially we just didn't perform to our abilities, and then after that game, the character of our team really came through.
Playing the next day after a loss like that, it's just finding the motivation to win again and just encouraging everyone, just encouragement to show the girls what we do, what Humber basketball is.
CJ was able to bounce back and score a game-high 31 points and grab 9 rebounds to help the Hawks clinch the bronze medal by beating the exact team that ruined their chances at gold. With all the success CJ has had throughout her college career, not only does her coach feel she can reach the next level, but she has the confidence in herself.
She's going to have an opportunity to play professionally for sure. I think there's an interest level on her part, and there's an interest level on, some of the different even agencies or teams that are available or have women's basketball as a professional sport.
Hopefully play professionally since I'm coming back in Humber next year. So the following year I hope to go overseas if I can and find a team that I can fit myself into.
Although we don't know what the future holds for CJ and Humber, we can assure you that the future is bright for both of them. I'm Devin Emery for SkedLine.com. Take care.
Thanks for that, Devin. One part of millennial culture that cannot be ignored is the consumption of media. This year, we saw the explosive response after the hit television show Riverdale was released to Canadian Netflix and the young audience that it seemed to resonate with. SkedLine reporters Alyssa Crozan, Fallon Hewitt, Rob Lowry, and Daniela Neves took the time to discuss parts of the show that are relatable to millennials. Here's what they have to say.
Hello, I'm Alyssa Crozan, and you're watching a SkedLine podcast. Today, I'm joined by Rob Lowry, Fallon Hewitt, and Daniela Neves. Today we're going to be talking about the popular CW show Riverdale and how it is a dark twist on the classic Archie comics. We're going to be getting a little bit into the characters and how their backstories relate to millennials today. So we're going to start with Archie Andrews. He's our main guy. He's kind of the conflicted teen, one of the conflicted teens. He is getting a lot of attention from his female classmates. He's the all-American boy, but he struggles to balance his social life with his passion for music, as well as pleasing his dad by playing football. I think, as a consensus, he's not the most relatable character so far in the show. He does have some relatable bits, like him trying to find himself through his music and his passions, but he doesn't really have any backstory that we know of right now that makes him the most relatable, so yeah.
And then we have Jughead Jones, who's played by Cole Sprouse. So Jughead's kind of like that dark, witty, cynical, emo teenage boy. He has an interesting perspective of Riverdale. He does narrate the show. So he kind of has like an overlooking view that he kind of sits from the outside, making him like an outsider. He also comes from a very broken family. His father deals with substance abuse. His mother and his sister are not in the picture anymore. And he deals with homelessness as well. So Jughead exudes a lot of different traits that a lot of millennials have experienced at some point in their life. I think a lot of people can relate to feeling like an outsider and having like a different perspective.
Next is the girl next door, Betty Cooper. She is probably one of the next relatable characters next to Jughead. She deals with being the perfect daughter and just the perfect person in general, with the pressure from her parents, living in a family that needs the pressure of being perfect, even though they're everything but that. And also just another relatable part of her is her being broken, like having a broken heart from her crush Archie rejecting her. So I think she offers a lot for millennials in in relating and just being very similar to each other.
And we also have Veronica Lodge. Now, Veronica was thrown into the Riverdale mix after her father was arrested and sent to prison, and she and her mother had to give up living in New York, living a luxurious life, to moving to Riverdale to live a little bit more of a comfortable life after a little bit of a financial slip. Now, Veronica, as a whole, her personality, she exudes confidence. She's extremely independent, and she's not afraid to say whatever she wants and stand up for what she believes in. In previous episodes, she's definitely demonstrated this, making her a very empowering character and a little bit of a role model for a lot of girls and even guys watching the show. But however, relating a little bit to millennials, she's not as relatable as Jughead or Betty, seeing as how she did come from a life of luxury and fame to all of a sudden moving straight to Riverdale to live a little bit more of a comfortable life. So not as relatable in that sense.
Now that you've heard our takes on some of the main characters of Riverdale, we actually interviewed a few Humber students just to get their thoughts on if Riverdale is relatable to millennials. Take a look.
So far, the way I look at how just the visuals, it's very stimulating in the sense that it gives a higher depiction of what it's like to be in high school, in the sense that I find that everyone there is a little overdeveloped and doesn't give a realistic standard of what an actual high school student looks like.
It's a lot darker than I thought it would be. I thought it would be more like the Archie comics I knew growing up, where Jughead's really funny and Betty and Veronica have that rivalry with Archie. But it's a lot darker than I anticipated, which actually are more like the original mystery ones.
Say like the relationship problems. So like let's say with Archie and Betty? Yeah, her name's Betty. With them, how Betty loves Archie, but Archie's just like, you're not, like, I'm not good enough for you. Like, I think I went through the exact same thing because my best friend liked me, but I was like, you're too good for me, you're too smart, you get like amazing grades and you're in like all the sports teams and I'm just a bum. So I'm just like, okay, this is like the exact same thing, and like I can relate to it a lot.
Now that you've heard a couple different takes on Riverdale and how it relates to millennials, if you want to hear the full discussion about characters, their backgrounds, their parents, and some themes of the show, check out our podcast on skedline.com.
Thanks so much for that, guys. For all of today's stories and more, be sure to check out our website, skedline.com. In closing, current events shape how each day unfolds around us, and our coverage can be detrimental to the success of a story. If you've been watching our Monday and Tuesday broadcasts, whether it be just once or every week, you've been a part of that success. From all of us at SkedLine, we thank you for an amazing year and look forward to the coverage of next year's news team in September. Until next time, bye for now.